Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. Hope you're all happy and healthy doing the things you love. It is time for another update, another live stream with yours truly. My name, as you know, is Sean Butler. I hope you guys can do me some favors as we've got some interesting stories to chew through this evening. First and foremost, Tottenham have, well, dare I say it, been listening to yours truly? I don't know. Feel like I was the first person saying it. That Tottenham need to step up, stand up, and actually take a little bit of notice of the imbalance in refereeing decisions that are happening around the Premier League, and that Tottenham Hotspur are seemingly a victim, at least in my opinion. I know a lot of fans' opinions. We've been talking about this yesterday on Spurs 5. I spoke about it with Johnny on Football Week the day before. I spoke about it twice, 2 days running, but before, just after the Arsenal game and before the game against Fulham. And I said that we need to make more of a fuss of these things because there's every chance that the next 50-50 will hurt Tottenham unless you make a song and dance about it. And you try to create some energy in the zeitgeist whereby if there are 50-50 decisions, referees that are in fact human beings, believe it or not, they are not robots. They are susceptible to influence. They are susceptible to pressure. And that the absence of putting any pressure on, despite a ridiculous theme of inconsistency, allows these referees to make the decisions that they make that may have some subliminal or subconscious leverage pushing for certain outcomes. Whether or not that sounds like corruption or just human nature, it is what it is. Let's not forget, Tottenham Hotspur have almost twice as, or sorry, Arsenal have almost twice as many fouls that are infractions, if you like, before they get a yellow card than Tottenham does. Tottenham sit bottom of the table, 4.1 fouls per yellow card. Arsenal, who seem to get away with absolute, I was about to say the M word, but I'm not going to say it. I don't want to get demonetized. Absolute, they get away with it. They get away with it all the time. They have 7.7 fouls per yellow card. It doesn't seem reasonable when you see some of the inaccuracies and the inconsistencies. So I've been calling for Tottenham to make more of a fuss, for the fans to not put up with this stuff, to not get sidetracked, not get distracted by focusing and worrying purely about how bad Tottenham are, how poor the squad is. And I know for some reason, I don't know why, but certain content creators, certain channels, certain places on Twitter, certain media outlets, certain podcasts, they seemingly want to brush that under the carpet because the more important thing is how bad we are. Surely there's enough space in our zeitgeist. Surely there's enough space in the day to be able to talk about everything that goes on in Tottenham Hotspur's world. And for me, I'm so glad that we've been pushing this narrative, because today, the PGMOL have received a letter from Tottenham Hotspur that are questioning why it is that there has been such a barrage of inconsistent decisions regarding very similar situations on the pitch. And I'm delighted to see it. It doesn't necessitate that anything will happen from it. But, you know, if that noise gets caught up in the media, hopefully TalkSport will talk about it. Simon Jordan might lay some thread of context in there. You might have a Martin Keown that will still dismiss it and say it's 50-50. These things all even themselves out in the end. They don't. If you're an Arsenal fan, surely even the strongest, stringent Arsenal fans can look at things like what happened in that Chelsea game and realize that they have been the beneficiary of incredible inconsistency this season, and Tottenham have been the victim on different levels for different ways. So I'm glad it's in the zeitgeist. We now have to keep this thing going so that maybe, just maybe, on Thursday night against Crystal Palace, or maybe the following weekend against Leeds or Liverpool in the future, if there's a 50-50 and it's that seed has been planted in the minds of the referees, maybe this time we'll get something. And those are the decisions that can lead to a penalty. It can lead to a goal standing or a goal being ruled out, and then maybe Tottenham get a little bit of luck finally, and then we can get this 2026 absolute debacle into better shape by picking up some points, because no one knows what might have happened had that goal not gone in against Fulham. No one knows what might have happened had it gone to 2-2 against Arsenal. No one knows where it would be if those other decisions earlier on in the season, the Romero one and obviously the Ekitike one, if either of those had stood, who knows? Who knows? I'm not saying that outcomes would have changed, but they might have changed. New timelines of reality. And we are where we are because mainly of our poor performances, our weak squad, our injuries, and our club that is dislocated from reality when it comes to good decision-making. But those other things are not irrelevant in the pursuit of agendas and not irrelevant in the pursuit of analysis. And so I'm really, really glad. We're going to be talking about the PGMOL letter. We've also got an interesting story about a new coach that has been that has been brought to Tottenham Hotspur, who's an Arsenal fan, and he's been a little bit naive, a little bit of a silly boy in talking on his Instagram and his various social media channels, sort of mocking the football club a little bit, talking about his love for Arsenal and how, he had to put base layers on before he could let the crest touch his shirt. Obviously, it's probably just banter, but it doesn't look good right now. It doesn't look good. Everything at the football club, the reputation of the football club seems to be in the mud all of the time for little things that seem to they're kind of irrelevant in the grand scheme of things, but they just compound on each other to make the club look a bit of a joke at times. And so apparently Tottenham Hotspur's leaders are going to be dealing with this one, and we'll see what happens, whether it's going to cost the guy his job, whether it's going to cost him at least some sort of, I don't know. It's not a great first impression, but apparently he's a very good coach. Apparently he's genuinely excited by the project. And look, mistakes can happen. I don't know how old he is. We'll find out in the story. We've also got stories about Udogie Freedman, guys. Udogie Freedman, wonderful director of football, ex-Crystal Palace DoF, responsible for signing some absolute monsters of their recent past and recent success stories. He obviously went out to Saudi Arabia, and apparently Tottenham Hotspur are looking at him as an option for the new DoF role when I believe Johan Lang's contract expires this summer. So in an ideal world, we'll be seeing the back of Johan Lang in the summer. And we'll have hopefully someone of the ilk of Udogie Freedman. What a wonderful DoF that would be. He's got some unbelievable eye for talent. He is, of course, earning big bucks over in Saudi Arabia, so I'm sure it would take a lot of money to get him out. But these sorts of decisions, the DoF is such an important role. If we're willing to pay £8-10 million a year for the likes of Ange Postecoglou and or 7-8 million for Ange Postecoglou, 8 or more for the likes of Thomas Frank, God knows what Igor Tudor's getting paid, especially with a promotion or a stay-up bonus. I don't think we should be scrimping on the DoF role either. I think the DoF role currently, at least at Tottenham Hotspur, is probably the biggest issue outside of the ownership in terms of being able to make good decision-making a frequent practice. And so if we could get Udogie Freedman in, wow, that would be a really interesting, positive move. Of course, it remains to be seen whether there's any truth to that story. There's also more stories out about Roberto De Zerbi as well. So we're going to talk about all of that right now, guys. Please, as I say, smash the like button for me. Smash the subscribe. Notification button should be squeezed. Comments should be dropped. And don't forget, we are, of course, available on your podcast platforms. So if Apple or Amazon are your places where you want to listen, then you can find me over there. Look up the Spurs Talk Show. Give us a rating and a review. Really appreciate it. And a follow, of course. And if you do want to watch us back via the podcast thing, when you're out walking the wife, then you can find me on Spotify as well, where you can listen and watch. So I appreciate any support over there. And last but by no means least, we appreciate the boys over at OK Jersey. You know the score by now. If you're looking for all of your latest international clobber for the World Cup that's coming up, I've seen my man Savo been wearing some tasty outfits. I'm pretty sure he was wearing the Brazilian one yesterday. Was he wearing the Dutch one today? I think he might have been. Maybe it was just an orange shirt, but it looked absolutely spectacular on him. Sort of caught his complexion. I wouldn't call Savo a ginger, but I think there's a little bit of ginger in him, isn't there? Are we thinking Savo's a little bit ginge? Well, the orange shirt picked out, it got the complexion popping. So big up to him. Let's see who's in the chat, and then we're going to get into it, guys. Desto's in the house. Big up to you, Destiny. He says, big up, Sean. Sorry for spat in the chat. Oh, that's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good. It got out of hand. I wasn't watching it. Too busy hosting and trying to chew through Stelios's delegation. I mean, listen, that guy, fair play to Stel. Like, he can take an absolute nonsense argument and make it into a believable script. Man belongs in politics. Man belongs in politics. I wasn't falling for it, but a lot of people are. A lot of people are seemingly getting on board the delegation. I mean, he's got some influence, that lad. The cult of delegation is a thing. We need to be very, very wary of this one. I don't understand why people would want that for our club. But listen, Stel's got his own mind with his own ideas. I just think it's a shocker. But that was why I wasn't able to see what was going on in the chat. Obviously, I found out afterwards there was a lot of shenanigans going on. So, Desto, if you had a bad nightmare, I've been there, mate. Too much drink. I've been there, dude. It's all good, my man. It's all good, bro. I think you have had your moderator permissions revoked, though, as has Danny, as has... No, that was it. Because we can't have the mods going at it. But yeah, it's all good, my man. Big up to my man, Johnny Teflon John. Big up to you, bro. How are you? Good to see you. Mick Hermluck's in the house. Big up to you, mate. As is Ben Salah Youssef. Big up to you, buddy. How you doing? Mark Taylor's in the house. Barrison Royale's in the gaff as well. Big up to you, Barrison. I haven't seen you for ages, my man. Big up to you, Bo. James in the house as well. Big up to the PGMOL declined to comment. Well, they're going to have to get back to Tottenham at some point. Marshall's in the house. Big up to you. My man Boxy's in the house. He's always here. Anti-delegation. Big up to you, Boxy. Thank you so much, my man. So generous every single time, buddy. I hope you're okay. Hope California's treating you nice. I hope it treats you kind. And I hope you had all you dreamed of. Big up to you, mate. Thank you very much indeed, mate. Very, very kind, mate. You haven't got to do those donations, mate, but they do very, very much make me smile, man. I appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate you. Hope you're cool. Mark Taylor's in the house. Roy's in the house. Eamon's in the house. Big up to the members. Elvis G's in the house. Robbie Hotspur, Ghosted, Mark, Paul. Big up to you all. Big up to you all, guys. Big up to you all. Listen, we've got a lot to talk about. There's Perchometer as well. Big up to the Perch. Big up to the Perch. There you go. Like, no stresses. We're all friends here. We're all friends. It's all in the background. It's all in the past. Let's go. What's Sonny J saying? All right, Sean and the chat. How's Tricks? 2 more days till Palace. If we don't win, there's going to be uproar. I hope we somehow find the win to calm things down a bit. Listen, there's people out there with like decent-sized Instagram, decent-sized Twitter accounts, like 15, 20,000 people, 20,000 followers, saying that they believe that Tottenham are going to sack Igor Tudor if we lose against Palace. I mean, look, if we do lose against Palace, and at the moment, I think it's probably very possible, then we got Liverpool. Liverpool after that. I mean, it wouldn't be great to have four losses on the bounce. But I don't think you can sack. I don't think you can sack another manager. You can't sack a manager after 3 games. I mean, well, can you? I don't know. Can you? How long did Ange Postecoglou last? Was it 8 games at Forest? Was it 8? 8 Premier League games and maybe 2 Europa League games? And I think that's the record. Is that the record for the fewest games? And that was 33 days. I really don't think that Tottenham can be breaking that record this season. I really don't. I hope he's got it in him to get the best out of this team. You know, I really do. At the moment, though, to be honest, I haven't seen anything to write home about. Like I said to you guys yesterday, I thought the balance in the team was absolutely shocking. I'll give the Arsenal one as, like, you know, Arsenal's Arsenal. But hang on a second. What's this? I don't know. What's going on here? Hang about. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Someone sent me something. There you go, Mr. Butler. Let's see if we get decisions now. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Perchometer. Not sure what you're talking about, mate. Let me know. Be less cryptic. Be less cryptic. Good afternoon, Sully. Sing along. Blimey. Yeah, listen, mate. I've just... you know what we do on this channel. We just go off on random tunes, I can get out the guitar. If you want to do Kumbaya, we can do Kumbaya. You know me, a man of few talents, a man of very little talent indeed. But yeah, with regards Igor Tudor, yeah, it wasn't, I mean, you're giving the pass for the Arsenal game to some degree because it's Arsenal. But yeah, Fulham, it was just, there was so little balance in the team. You're playing with 4 midfielders and you give up the midfield battle. You play your only creative play on the left-hand side and then run the ball down the right-hand side. You play a central midfielder at right winger who's not that sort of gifted in that particular role. You play, I don't know what he is, a jack of all trades at left back, a right-footed jack of all trades at left back, and play your creative player in front of him. The whole thing was completely out of balance. And if you don't have balance, you don't have much, especially against a team that's organized and disciplined very well to be balanced by their own design, which is Marco Silva's Fulham. So we have to see more against Crystal Palace. Now, fortunately, Crystal Palace are without Lacroix, who's an absolute beast at the back. Does it change the way you want to set the team up? Not for me. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the Palace game today because I've got these other stories to talk about. But whilst we're on the subject, I would say that the team for me is very easy, right? Right back, Pedro Porro. The centre backs of Micky van der Ven and Danzo or Dragusin, depending on if Danzo's fit. I prefer to see Danzo if he's fully fit, personally, but I don't mind it. I also don't mind, and then I'd like to see Sousa at left back. If you don't want to play Sousa at left back, I'd actually be okay playing Micky van der Ven at left back, and then play Danzo and Dragusin in the middle. In the 2 in front, you have to. For me, it's Palhinha and Conor Gallagher. Or Palhinha and Sarr, or Gallagher and Sarr. If you want to have a more of a kind of a creative guy in the midfield than Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher can easily play the more creative role. Absolutely can. And let Palhinha just sit and protect. Off the left, you have to have Mathys Tel. Off the right, you have to have Kolo Muani. in front of the midfielders, you need to have Xavi Simons back in the creative role. And in the 9, take your pick out of Richarlison and Solanke. I'd actually probably go with Richarlison just because we're in a dogfight, and I think Richarlison's got more dogfight in him than Solanke does. I prefer Solanke, the footballer, but I think Richarlison looks fired up. I think as long as he's fully fit and can go 90 minutes. If not, then you just do the same thing as before. Do Solanke, or you start Richarlison for 60 and then give Solanke the last half an hour. Whatever. But I don't want to see any more weird formations. I don't want to see any 4-4-2s with no notable wingers. I don't want to see anything like Mathys Tel on the bench. The guy has earned his right to be a starter, especially in this particular with the options we have. And so for me, it's a simple setup. Just go back to 4-2-3-1. Do it that way. It's not that like we've got a team there. That team is capable. That team is more than capable. It's not ideal. You'd obviously love to see a Kudus back. You'd love to have someone that's a better left winger. But for me, the team is capable of doing the business. That is not a horrendous team at all. So for me, that's how I would do it. That's how I would do it. Big up to you all, guys. There's nearly 500 people in the house. We've only been going for, how long have we been going for? What's my thing? 15 minutes. Love to see it. I hope your afternoon is lovely. It's nice having some daylight at 5 p.m., huh? It's nice. Summer's coming, people. Summer's coming. Are you getting yourself ready for the summer? Are you? Getting down the gym? Drinking more water? If the answer to both of those is no, then you're in the same boat as Butler. But, we're gonna try and up our game a little bit. Johnson is 109% scoring. Yeah, you can see that, can't you, Tony? You can see that, mate. You can absolutely see that. And do what Tony does. Smash the like and subscribe, people. Smash the like and subscribe. I have got the subscriber mode only on because, subscribers are hard to come by in February. So, and March, obviously. We're in March now. Anyway, let's get on with the bloody show, shall we? Let's talk more cork. Let's have a little look. So let's start with this one. And this is the story from the BBC. Here we go. Sammy Mockbell, old Sammy Mockbellers. He says, Tottenham have written to Professional Game Match Officials Limited Chief Howard Webb to raise their concerns over key refereeing decisions. Sources have told the BBC Sport the correspondence is primarily focused on what the club view as inconsistent decisions that have led to goals being allowed or disallowed as a result of contact inside the penalty area. Spurs have been on the wrong side of a number of these key incidents this season. During Tottenham's 4-1 loss to Arsenal on 22nd of February, Colin Mawani had a goal which would have levelled the score at 2-2, ruled out after the officials had judged the France international had pushed the opposing defender Gabriel in the back just moments before slotting beyond David Raya. It has been noted by Spurs that referee Peter Banks, who officiated in the derby against Arsenal, said in last week's episode of Match Officials Mic'd Up show how once you see two hands in live play, it looks like a push, a clear push. I was more than happy that the two hands on the back had enough impact and was an offence. With that in mind, Tottenham were left confused why Fulham winger Harry Wilson's opener against them in Saturday's 2-1 loss at Craven Cottage was allowed to stand 100%. Where's the consistency? Let's let them talk, bro. Let them talk and we'll use their own words against them. Mexico striker Raul Jimenez appeared to push Spurs defender. Appeared to push. Alleged. Not alleged. He shoved him. Absolutely shoved him. To push defender Radu Dragusin in the build-up to Wilson's strike as the pair jumped for an aerial challenge, but the goal was allowed to stand because the contact did not meet the threshold for a foul. What is that? The threshold for a foul. Basically, I don't want to give a foul, therefore my threshold is different to the guy Peter Banks. It's like when old Keir Starmer said, a couple of years ago, not to get political, but when he said a couple of years ago, I wasn't aware when I was head of the Crown Prosecution Service, I wasn't aware of the Jimmy Savile thing. It didn't come across my desk. Someone in the lower tiers decided it wasn't cool, and I saw this video of him saying that, and then they pivoted back to a video when he was around, like in the the early 2000s, or whatever, when that whole story came out, 2010 or whatever, when he looked a lot younger, and he said, I was aware of the Jimmy Savile thing, but you have to remember that because of Jimmy Savile's status in society, the threshold for a crime is far higher. And the statements from the girls did not meet the threshold. I mean, what is that? So because you're famous, a crime isn't the same for you and me as it is for him. because he's someone with high society. The threshold for a crime is higher. I mean, outright that word threshold. I want to threshold it around the throat and strangle the life out of it. What are we doing here? It's the same as that word context. When people use the word context to try and wiggle themselves out of a nonsense point in a debate on Tottenham. No, mate, when you view that through the context, through the lens of how I want to see it. There you go. That's just pissed off all the Aussies watching later on. Get ready for some down dislikes. Get ready for some dislikes. Anyway, back to the story. Speaking after the game, interim head coach Igor Tudor said, of course it's a foul. It's always a foul. It's an incredible mistake. Love that from Tudor. It's understood Spurs in the letter have provided further examples of where similar situations have occurred this season with differing outcomes. Newcastle striker Nick Voltemale's goal against Arsenal in September, despite a perceived push on Brazilian centre-back Gabriel in the build-up, is understood to have been included as an example of where contact in the box had been interpreted differently. Since becoming the PGMOL Chiefs refereeing officer in 2022, Webb has sought greater transparency related to the communication of decisions, but also strived for constructive direct engagement with clubs. Well, you know what they haven't mentioned in this, but I hope that Tottenham have put together a bigger body of evidence than just those two, because we know specifically ourselves, guys, that there's at least 4 that Tottenham have been on the wrong side of this season. At least 4. I know I'm sure there was one in the Sunderland Leeds match not that long ago with Brian Brobby, I think. Could be wrong about that. But wasn't there also one? There's definitely been a couple with United as well. I mean, it's unbelievable how many of these inconsistencies exist. You want to put together a whole body of work and then, by the way, for me, like, you're not going to get any outcomes. Nothing's going to change. But like I say, for me, it's important to stand up against these things. Arteta, for sure, would make a song and dance about that we'd be listening to, never ending, for weeks and weeks and weeks. And if you're looking at the chief culprit of making himself and his club to be a victim at every opportunity and keeping their mouth shut when they get all of the 50-50s that go their way, it's Arsenal. And if you look at Arsenal specifically, if you go on any Tottenham or any football content on any platform, random stuff, all you see is footage of other people, other fans that are talking about how fortunate Arsenal have been this season with all of the 50-50s and the inconsistencies. So please don't tell me that these people that are referees are not capable of influence, of being influenced. I'm not going to say corruption as in they're doing it deliberately, but whether it's subliminally or whether it's in their subconscious, there is going to be an influence. There's going to be an impact to their decision-making at some point on any 50-50 when the situation arises in the future, the team that has the chance for it to go one side or the other, the way the cookie will crumble on it, if they have been making a massive noise about how they are deemed to be treated differently to everybody else, they are going to get a little slice of those 50-50s more frequently than they would if they didn't say anything at all. That's all I've been asking for Tottenham to be doing over the last couple of weeks. All I've been saying is make a song and dance about it. If you get a 50 grand fine or 100 grand fine, it's chump change. It's irrelevant in the grand scheme of things for calling out the referees for inconsistencies and for what you consider to be a little bit of bias. If it means that in the future, you get that one that edges your way, and then you get that decision, you get that goal, or the goal that maybe could have stood against you but didn't. Maybe if it's chalked off, you're still in the game. I don't know if every decision, the 50-50s with Tottenham, like those guys, I don't know. Like, you know, one of those goals, either the goal that Fulham scored or the goal that Tottenham scored, one of them should have, or both of them should have counted. And so to be consistent, you either, like, you're not going to get both decisions go your way, but one of them should have gone our way because they're essentially identical. The only difference being that the referee on the pitch decided that one of them wasn't a foul and the other one thought it was a foul. But so the inconsistency doesn't have to be in the guise of VAR. It can just be in the application of the law on the pitch, because there's no discernible difference in the way that the ball found out. So I'm delighted that Tottenham have kicked up a fuss about this, and maybe they are listening. Maybe they're listening to old Butler. You know, and on that basis, guys, do me a favor, get hold of Udogie Freedman, you know, get rid of Johan Lang whilst we're in the listening mode. Tottenham, Vinay, you can go and all, and any chance of Have you any chance of someone from the football club coming on for an interview? It'd be really nice. If you're listening, let me know. SpursTalkShow@proton.me for emails. Anyway, guys, let's get on with the next. There's a couple of super chilly chit chats. Big up to Dino Chudini. He's always here. He's always supportive. Choo to you, mate. Choo to you, Dino. I hope you are okay, my man, my Chudini. And Igor Plyev. Igor, I'm not sure if that's your name, Igor Plyev. Don't know. I've not seen your name before, my man, but I really do appreciate you sticking in a super chat. Out in Canada, he says, big up, Sean. Watch the ref decisions go our way now since we wrote to PGMOL. Mark my words. I believe this was not all of them, but we don't get any of them. We don't get a single decision. We haven't had a single penalty all season. Every single 50-50, I feel, goes the other way. I know that I had a long chat with Perchy this morning about this, and we were sort of talking over each other, I think, a little bit, because he's got a different take on it to me. He thinks that, it's all much 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, and that every team, every fan thinks that their team is on the, only remembers the things that go against them. And that's fine, but I can't remember anything that's really gone our way. And my point isn't really about whether or not Tottenham are treated unfairly. My point is about when there is the opportunity to kick up a bloody fuss, because it's not going to do any harm, is it? It's not going to do any harm. What, you're going to get fans saying, oh, boo-hoo, give a shit. 90% of Tottenham fans think that there is some inconsistency between the two decisions that happened between the Arsenal game and the Fulham game. And the fact that the proximity was so similar. Now, this is where I hope that Tottenham haven't screwed up. I really do hope that Tottenham have put together a body of work that shows all of the incidents of similar inconsistencies over this season. Because like I say, I can think of 4. I'm sure that someone else yesterday told me there was a 5th, which I don't remember specifically. But like I say, kick up a fuss. Maybe you get the edge in one of these decisions, because for sure Arsenal get the edge. And I think that sort of thing started with them kicking up fusses. He said, disgrace, guys. Remember all that stuff? And don't forget Liverpool, right? When we played Liverpool under Ange, and Curtis Jones got sent off unfairly. And he did get sent off unfairly. They kicked up merry hell about that. And the referees bent over backwards to give Liverpool everything they could for the rest of that season. Let's not pretend that didn't happen, because if you've got a memory, then, and you're sincere and authentic with it, then I think everyone can remember how much Liverpool got, and they won the league that year. Let's also not forget that what's his name, Masters of the Premier League, has come out and said, we want a new winner, a new champion every 5 years. First of all, what on God's green earth are they saying that sort of thing for? It can only lead you to think that the Premier League would, they should be impartial. Let the dice fall as they may. But if they're saying no, in an ideal world, to keep the brand fluidity, to keep it consistently high, to keep it interesting, we would like to see a new champion at least every 5 years. It makes your mind go, well, what would they be doing to encourage that? Is it financial fair play and PSR? Well, we haven't really seen any of that, any teeth in that regard, have we? I mean, Chelsea have just booked a £340 million loss or whatever it is, right, over the last 12 months. Obviously insane. But so they haven't really done anything. They haven't got round to the 115 charges. They still haven't done Chelsea's 84 charges or whatever that number is. So in terms of if they want a new champion every 5 years, how are they going to go about seeing those things happen? Other than just women a prayer, fingers crossed, and hope for the best. Well, if it's not through financial controls, maybe it's by giving a little wink and a little nudge, allegedly, to the referees to have some sort of influence whereby certain teams get a little bit of the flavour and other teams don't. I'm not saying that these things are happening. I'm saying that they shouldn't be saying those things, because by saying those things, it allows you to speculate on what they mean and what are the endeavours in which they go about to try to make sure that those things happen. Why an impartial body should decide that they want a specific amount of winners or new winners? Absolutely insane. Sheffield United, was it? Oh yeah. Yeah, they. Oh, sorry. You're talking about the financial fair play. It's absolutely mental, right? It's absolutely mental. So either keep your mouth shut, or people like me that are conspiratorial minded, I'm going to start putting, 2 and 2 to get together and get in a glass of vodka and lemonade. Chin chin, by the way. Pour yourself one. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's just gone 5 o'clock here. Don't mind if I do. Ratatata. Ratatata. That's what we're doing here. That's what we are doing here. Clutching at straws now. What are you saying? Behave, Sonny. You've been down before. Who, Tottenham? You talking to me? Talking to me? You talking to me? Anyway. But Chris, the under-8s referee, told us there's nothing to see. No, so I love Chris. He's not an under-8s referee, by the way. He coaches other referees. So I've got respect for his knowledge of the refereeing game. He obviously knows more about refereeing than anyone else. But where I disagree with him is that I think that part of his argument is, or at least the way I interpreted it, is that I think he sometimes confuses, blends the words objective and subjective. And I think he also does have, just like everybody else in life, a precondition of being human. And I think he does lean into defending referees and not really engaging with the principle that people are potentially able to make mistakes, first and foremost. And also that mistakes do have consequences, which is where people get frustrated. And not just mistakes. Mistakes can just be completely, unintentional. But like I say, there are other things. As I say, the human condition can be influenced by the zeitgeist, by the psyche of the things that are around them, the pressure. You can't tell me that the referees haven't given weak penalties, soft penalties to teams at home when playing at Old Trafford back in Fergie era, right? When you got Fergie with all of his influence and you got 72,000 people screaming for a penalty. You can't tell me that hasn't affected referees before. It's part and parcel of the game. That's why it's the same with players, right? So let's not pretend like referees are completely impervious to pressure and to influence, whether subconsciously or consciously. So that's where I disconnect from kind of Chris's stance personally on this one. Anyway, we've spoken about PGMOL enough. I'm delighted that Tottenham have decided to put together something, and obviously they haven't commented yet, but I'm sure they'll get back to Tottenham. They'll probably just say, it is what it is. It'd be great if they came out and acknowledged that they made a mistake. They've done that before. Never for Tottenham. They've done it for teams against Tottenham, funnily enough, but never for Tottenham. So be nice if they came out and made a mistake. That would vindicate a few people, I think. But if not that, at least it will get into the minds of those people that maybe Tottenham have been on the wrong side of a 50-50, and maybe we get the next one. That will be interesting. Anyway, let's move on to the next story. And that is about this person who's joined the football club as a coach and has already got himself into hot water. Let's look at this. Is from the Daily Mail. Tottenham consider action against Arsenal supporting scout who joked about not wanting badge to touch his skin. Tottenham Hotspur have been left deeply unimpressed with their new Arsenal supporting academy scout after he joked about not wanting his badge to touch his skin. While the club declined to comment, Daily Mail Sport understands officials have taken a dim view of social media posts made by Neros Coachman. Is that its actual name? Wowzers. After he took the role and may well take further action. Coachman, who states he has a UEFA B license, posted a picture of himself in a Tottenham trackie next to the club motto, "To dare is to do," saying he was looking forward to getting the new set of superstars to the club. He added, the project's good when you're a boyhood Arsenal fan and you switch sides. One poster responded, "Do not let that badge touch your skin," to which Coachman wrote, "I've already got the base layer." Another posted, "We need someone on the inside," to which Coachman responded, "Shush." A picture of a snake was then posted, with Coachman replying, I know, it's deserved, ha ha." Referring to his Tottenham attire, a commenter posted, "How the hell did you get dressed in that?" To which Coachman responded, "It was tough." The posts were quickly picked up by Tottenham fans, with many highlighting a perceived lack of respect. Some of an Arsenal persuasion pointed out that Coachman's comments were clearly just said in jest. Regardless, the posts are not thought to have gone down well at the Tottenham Stadium. Spurs are aware of the situation, thought to be deeply unimpressed, and the matter is understood to be dealt with in-house. Yeah, look, I mean, I tend to agree, right? It's a little bit odd. Okay, I mean, it's stupid. It's really not. I'd love to know, how old is he? Let's have a look how old he is. How old do you reckon this guy is? Mid-20s? Something like that? What's his name? Let's find out how old he is first. Where's his name? Neuros Coachman. I mean, how old is he? I can't bother. I can't find it initially. That's the story of my life. That I give up very, very quickly. I don't know. Let's assume let's assume it's his first major gig. He's obviously very naive. It is a joke, though. It is obviously just a joke, and I don't know if he should lose his job about it. But Spurs King says he should. You think he should go? Oh, he's 36, is he? Wow, fair enough. He's good for 36. Look, he's naive, silly. He should know that sort of thing is going to get back. But it is just a joke. He does want it. He says the project must be good if he's managed to switch sides. You can't expect people to not have a life outside. You can't expect people to not have a team that they support. If he's willing to come to Tottenham, it's good for his own career. Obviously, it's a little bit silly and misplaced and stupid. But should he lose his job over it? I mean, if you lose your job over that, gee whiz. I think that's a little bit harsh. You should get a very stern dressing down and say, look, you're going to be monitored, like not monitored, but like kind of, you've not made a great first impression here. But it's probably a dream job for him, you know, and I feel like it would be way, way harsh for him to get sacked on the basis of that. I mean, I don't know. This is someone's livelihood here. What are we doing? He is a dumbass for doing it, but like, learn your lesson, never do it again, and just make sure that you go and sign some absolute superstars. Right? Apparently, he's quite talented guy. I've read about people saying a few things about him on Twitter, saying apparently he's pretty good. I don't know. But yeah, remind him of his responsibilities. But what are we really like? This is like Gestapo level kind of stuff here. If you sack him, yes, you can, Sean. He's a gooner. Sack him. Come on, Mick. What are we doing, mate? You probably got a family to feed. What are we saying? Okay, you're saying sack him, kick him out. Wowzers. Because you guys are harsh, mate. You guys are harsh. You never made a mistake. Maybe, I don't know. Listen, maybe I don't like have that same kind of relationship with Arsenal like a lot of you guys do. I don't know anyone that's an Arsenal fan, or I haven't got any friends that are Arsenal fans anyway. So let me see. 1s and 0s, guys. 1s and 0s. Should we sack him? 1. Keep him, make him learn his lesson, keep him on probation, and final warning sort of stuff. 0. Should he lose his job over a little bit of banter on social media? 1 to sack him, 0 to keep him. Yes, I made a mistake and I got the sack. Wow. Sack. Fucking hell, you guys are brutal. You fucking hell. I've made 2 mistakes. They are 17 and 15 now. Come on, Dave. They're probably your best things in life, aren't they, mate? I don't know. Come on now. And I'm sure you're joking, right? I'm sure you're joking. But if your kids saw that, they never spoke to you again, would you feel hard done by? I mean, it's a joke, right? It's a joke. Rune says sack him. A lot of people saying sack him. I mean, okay. Oh, my computer's frozen. Is my computer frozen? What's going on here? Are we back in the game? Oh, yeah. Okay, we're back in the game. Sorry, something froze there for a second. Sack him. Don't sack him. Sack him. Jesus Christ. Most of you are Most of you are on the go. It's not banter, though. He hates us. How do you know he hates us? Should that be a precondition? Like, if you work, like, basically, he should be asked before he joins the football club, who do you support? If the answer is Arsenal, then you can't hire him. Keep and promote, says Eugene. Fine him. You're not footballers. He's a coach. He's probably earning 30 grand a year. In fact, he's probably earning less than that. He's probably earning because he's probably just looking for like 8-year-olds. I don't know. His comments are unprofessional. I mean, probably. Look, I kind of hear it. Yeah, so many ones. The computer was complete. It's a brand new computer as well, and it's already gone kaput. I don't know. Listen, I think you guys are being a little bit brutal. But if he slips up again, for sure, get rid of the guy. He's done it maybe to take the mick, and if he's disrespected the club, sack him, but make him do some crap jobs first, says Sonny. Seems a bit over the top, right, Jamie? Seems a bit over the top. I mean, look, I don't know. You guys are brutal. God forbid anyone of you ever made a mistake, eh? Gee whiz. Do you have any medical history issues? Yeah. Do you support Arsenal? Yeah. If he said, what's your favourite meal? He said lasagna. Sack him! Get him out! Get him out of this football club! Unbelievable stuff. Big up to my man, Blaine Devlin. 30 months. Jeez, I deserve compensation. Big up, Shawnee boy. Big up to you, Blaine. 30 months, mate. The longest 30 months of your life, probably. Not just because you've known me, but because of Tottenham being absolutely pony. Absolutely pony. Are you sure you don't want the Arsenal owners as well? Oh, this is it. That's a good question there, Anthony Clark. I think you're an Arsenal fan, aren't you, mate? I think you are an Arsenal fan. Yeah, so, you don't want anything Arsenal? So you wouldn't take Gabriel? You wouldn't take Saliba? Come on now. But maybe I'm missing the point. Maybe it's me that's missing the point because I don't have the same relationship with Arsenal fans that are friends as you guys do. Maybe I'm wrong on it. But judging by the amount of ones that we want him sacked, and considering that this audience, I think, is one of the more cultivated audiences of intelligentsia in the space. I like you lot. I think you're funny. I think you're well-rounded and balanced. The fact that most of you said sack him, then fuck it. Should we get on the sack him? Get him out! Sack him! Old rubber arm Butler. Okay, I'll join you. I'll join you in your unreasonable discourse. What an unbelievable lot we are. Unbelievable. Talk about unbelievable. My man Blaine Devlin sticking in 10 Super Spurs Talk Show memberships. Wowzers. Very generous, Blaine. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Guys, if you did receive one of those 10 from Blaine, make sure you say big up to Blaine. And I'm coming back with the members fan. I've been really sick, and that's why I haven't been doing it. To be honest, I'm really bad at doing the members fan shows anyway, but I am going to do one very, very soon. There you go, Siggy. You got one, mate. There you go, Jessica. Very, very cool. Make sure you say thanks to Blaine. I would sack, don't want stupid employees, says Brommer Swinger. Brommer Swinger? Blaine the gentleman, Marshall. Indeed. The point is the Spurs culture at staff level is made up of Brentford and Arsenal people. Yeah. No, listen, I hear you. Like if we were top of the league right now, it would be like, a gnat on a windshield sort of thing, a complete irrelevant, right? Complete irrelevance. But the fact of the matter is that right now, everything at Tottenham looks like it's under scrutiny for just being sloppy with no real game plan, sloppy with no real direction, sloppy with no real vision. And it doesn't look like the left hand knows what the right hand is doing. And all of these little things do bring the reputation of the football club into some level of disrepute. So I definitely understand it's a bigger deal than it probably otherwise would be because of the environment in which we're conducting everything right now. I totally get that. I just still think that it's a little bit harsh to sack someone. It's their livelihood, to lose their job over a little bit of a just naivety and a little bit of ignorance of those sorts of things. I think this will be a strong lesson for the guy, I hope. And I hope that he realizes that, it's not okay to do that sort of shit and to put your big boy pants on, get a little bit professional and make sure that you go and identify the next greatest 10-year-old that's out there. Go and find someone that's a superstar, make it up to us. But I don't know. To me, sacking a guy over that is a little bit harsh, especially when jobs are so hard to come by. everyone. I know people that have been out of work for like 6 months, and they're very, very talented people, very, educated, got good CVs, resumes, and experience, and would be an asset to any organization, but they just can't find work at the moment because the world's not in a kind of employable position. Not many businesses are able to hire because of the government's, their new rules around the cost of employment, all that stuff. So I wouldn't want to be a guy who just gets his dream job. Maybe he's not his dream team to work for, but it's a brilliant club to work for, brilliant job, and then to lose it over something like that. I hope he learns his lesson and makes it up to us by finding a superstar. That's what I would say, I think. And give him some sort of embarrassment. Make him sleep in Tottenham pajamas or something for a week. I don't know. Do something. Make him learn to love the football club. Anyway, let's move on from that one. I'm glad to see that you guys are in vicious, unapologetically vicious mood today. Let's move on to, where's the next story for us? Where is that story I want to bring to your attention? Is it this one? Yeah, here we go. We've got a story here for us. And then we're going to talk about we're going to talk about Udogie Friedman in just a minute. But where are we? Here we go. Let's get this one. Oh, just screwed it. What have I done? Bollocks. 1 second. What am I doing here? Here we go. Bosh. So, Igor Tudor is reportedly set to receive some good news after failing to get any points from his first 2 games at Tottenham as Tottenham's interim head coach. Tudor, who sounded confident of getting a tune out of the Tottenham players in his first press conference in the job, does not do so any longer. The Croat has got a big reality check after seeing his side outclassed by Arsenal and Fulham in London derbies. Following his side's defeat at Craven Cottage, Tudor admitted that he has a lot of problems to fix at Spurs, but he may get some help doing that. Bruno Salter, Tomislav Rogic, and Ricardo Ragnacki all arrived at Tottenham 2 weeks ago, along with Tudor on short-term contracts. However, there was one glazing absentee, Ivan Javicic, who was Tudor's assistant in his last 2 spells at Juventus and Lazio. The Telegraph have now described Javicic as Tudor's trusted assistant, and they reveal that the Spurs interim boss is hoping to be boosted by his arrival. The report explains that Javicic's arrival has been held up by a work permit issue, but there is now optimism that it could be sorted and the 47-year-old could take his place alongside Tudor at Hotspur Way. Tudor is going to need all the help he can get. Tudor has admitted that the challenge at Tottenham is more difficult than he expected, but remains convinced it is one he can tackle. The interim coach has also admitted that Spurs players are not at the expected physical level to carry out certain game plans. Additionally, the Croat is dealing with his extremely bloated injury list, and it cannot be easy navigating these issues without his number 2 beside him. It's interesting, isn't it, that this isn't the first time that a manager's come in and has said that the fitness levels are not good enough. And if we're entirely honest, I've looked at Tottenham for the last, I think pretty much since Conte, and always considered Tottenham to be like second or one half of Football FC. Sometimes it was second half FC where we were terrible in the first half, better in the second half. That was the case under Conte. It was certainly the case under Thomas Frank. Under Ange Postecoglou, we were usually better in the first half, from memory. Even though we ended up obviously losing a lot of games late and stuff, we don't really have the physical fitness to get through. Now, from a Tudor perspective, coming in and having 2 months to figure out, how to get people to rally, to raise their standards, to rally their efforts, and to find some heart and desire, and yet to spend most of their time, from what I've been hearing, on the training ground, running laps and doing essentially fitness work, when you don't really have enough time to spend on the tactical side. I find that a little bit of a stretch. Like you've been brought in as an impact guy. You haven't really had any impact yet. Now, obviously, there's only so much you can do. You can rally the troops, you can give them a kick up their backside, and you can get them playing a certain way, which we haven't really seen as of yet. But if you're spending most of your time on the training ground making them do sprints, and by the way, that is apparently what happened to that's why Jed Spence's injury. He's got a bad calf muscle again now, because he was made to just, to run, to sort of do long distance running. And apparently his calf muscles, been strained as a consequence. And he wasn't long back from his previous niggle. So it's not fantastic to think that he's using his precious moments on the training ground, making them run. But if he genuinely thinks that the fitness levels of the players are not good enough, it begs the question, why? Why? Once again, why? Is that part of the reason why they're getting injured so much? That they're not spending enough time doing fitness work. They're not getting their body accustomed to the kind of the rigmarole of what they're expected to do in the 90 minutes on the pitch. And then so they're kind of a little bit lazy, coupled with the exertion of a 90-minute game, which means that they're like Thomas Frank then had to essentially accommodate that by saying, we'll go harder in the second half. But usually that was accompanied by when we were already 1 or 2 goals down in the game. So that's why we could come back strong and maybe get a point, but we never won a game that we conceded first in. But it begs the question, like I say, why? If you've got all these fitness people at the training ground, we've got the greatest training regimes. And as I spoke to Gary before and with Johnny, we've got the best people, we've got the best machinery and the best fitness intelligence. And yet Igor Tudor's come in and said these guys aren't fit enough. And you'd think, given the fact that most of these players are playing 90 minutes and there's not much room for rotation, that their fitness levels would probably be quite high. They might be tired. They might be in they might be sort of worn out. But in terms of their actual base fitness, given how often they're playing, you'd think their base fitness would be peak in terms of like their ability their stamina or whatever, their red zone performance. But clearly not. Clearly not. I don't know. What are you guys saying in the chat? Graham Hill says too many snoods and gloves worn in training. Soft as butter. Soft as butter. Yeah. Would make sense. Fitness levels low. Fitness was awesome under Poch. Yeah, it was. Yeah. You can't have vision now, Sean. What does that mean? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Shows his lack of professionalism. Who's Igor Tudor's, or are we going back to the other video? I remember when you signed George Graham, none of you wanted him then. Then he won you the cup. Your attune changed then. Yeah, I remember that. Georgie Graham's blew him. Georgie Graham's blew him. I was at that Leicester final. Was at the Leicester final in 1999. Alan Nielsen late on. Going mental in the old Wembley Stadium. I was sat in like the 12th row or something. And so the seats then were just like stools. They didn't have any backs to them. So we were all standing on the seats, bouncing up and down. One of the greatest memories I have with my old man. Absolutely fantastic day. Can you believe that? And then we've been to about 6 other finals since and only won 1. Sack the prick, says Magic. So we're talking about Igor Tudor, or are we going back to we're talking about the geezer from we're talking about that guy Coachman. I don't know. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button to Rabbit Hole. The Rabbit Hole Ramblings, guys. The Rabbit Hole Ramblings are coming back strong. Because, by the way, if Tottenham do get relegated, then this fat prick has to find a way to stay relevant during a season when most of you aren't going to be interested in Tottenham content. So I'll be doubling down on the political conspiracy stuff. So make sure if you haven't already, it's a lot of fun over there. The Rabbit Hole Ramblings. And also, whilst I'm at it, I'm trying to make sure that everyone, if you are on Instagram, make sure you look me up. It's the Spurs Talk Show. Because there was one called Spurs Talk Show that was my previous account, but when I got hacked, I lost access to it. So the Spurs Talk Show on Instagram. And if you wait a little minute in the chat there, the stream elements will come around with it. And I want you to click on that and smash the follow button. Get me some Instagram juice. I've only got about 400 followers on Instagram. So help a brother out. Well, let's talk a little bit about what's Foxy saying. Tudor always comes across as the manager that blames everyone else apart from himself after a run of bad results. That's already started with Spurs. I think there's a lot of managers that take advantage of the blame everybody else but themselves. I can't name the one that I think of because apparently Australia, I'm on Australia's most wanted list. For crimes against crimes against Postecoglou. Alex McCarthy, you follow me on Instagram. Big up to you, Alex. Big up to you. Big up to you, bro. Right, what's the next story I want to talk about? Let's get this one here going. Is it on the screen? Of course it isn't on the screen. Of course it isn't. Let's get this one up. Here we go. This was out yesterday. This is from Give Me Sport, though. Tottenham players are set for a double cut in pay this summer if they are relegated from the Premier League. Give Me Sport understands. Well, the only reason you understand that is because it was written by David Ornstein. So you don't understand it, do you? You're just regurgitating what this man said. That Spurs stars would see their wages cut in half if the club are relegated to the Championship at the end of the season. But that is not the only wage cut that will be coming their way if a drop to the second tier of English football is confirmed. Spurs are perilously close to the bottom three in the Premier League after a second successive poor season of domestic football. Interim head coach Igor Tudor has failed to turn the clubs around the club's fortunes after replacing the sacked Thomas Frank. They have failed to win either of his 2 games in charge. Tottenham have not won a single game in the league yet. Their form leaves them just 4 points above the relegation zone. Yet, get to the point, mate. Get to the point. Were the unthinkable to happen and Spurs drop out of England's top flight for the first time since '77, the players will not only be in for a rude awakening when it comes to the EFL Championship and the volume of games and the stadiums they will have to travel to, but they will have to do so on a hugely reduced salary too. Give Me Sports senior correspondent Ben Jacobs revealed in his newsletter that Spurs players will be getting another wage cut on top of the relegation clause cut for failing to qualify for the UEFA Champions League next season. He said, in addition, there are reduction in wages if Tottenham don't get Champions League football. That's obviously not going to happen next season via them qualifying through the league, but in theory, it is still a possibility for them to go all the way and win the Champions League this season. As Ben points out, Spurs are still in this year's Champions League and could go on to win to qualify for next season's competition, but with Atletico Madrid standing in their way in the last 16 and the form they are in, it would take something close to a miracle for that to happen. A huge squad overhaul would be required if Tottenham were to be relegated from the Premier League, with a number of high-profile players unlikely to stick around on massively reduced wages, as well as the prospect of playing in the Champions League. Look, the reality is, guys, that I don't really know how to think about this story. Forget about the Champions League bonus cut thing, whatever. That's just obvious. That's irrelevant. But with regards Daniel Levy making sure that he put these things in play, to me, I think that was smart, right? I saw people on Twitter somehow turning this into a dig at Daniel Levy. People that have got, I think Matty Hayes. I'm pretty sure Matty Hayes was saying it from like a, I can't believe this is even a thing. Like, only at Tottenham would this be a thing. Like, that Daniel Levy has somehow screwed up by putting those clauses in place. I think it's to his credit that he has those clauses in place, just on the off chance, right? You always need to be thinking about these things, even if they are a distant and remote possibility. So having those things in place for when the possibility becomes real and manifests, the situation is pretty. I think it's better to have it in that situation, right? I think it's better to have those things in place. Now, are the players willing to go down and take a half? Obviously, if they're sitting there going, well, I might go down for a season if I was getting full pay, then I don't know if Tottenham would be able to afford to pay them full pay anyway, with regards to the kind of hit to revenue. But it's more likely that they're going to put in transfer requests if they are also getting hit 50% on their salary, right? So certain players are going to want to leave regardless if we go down. And I think certain players are going to want to leave regardless if we stay up. I think Micky van der Ven is completely checked out. I really do. I think he's making sloppy decisions at the back, which is one of the reasons why I said at the start of the show that for the game against Crystal Palace on Thursday, I wouldn't be against the idea of playing Micky van der Ven at the left-back side. If you don't think that Sousa is strong enough to play and start the game, I haven't seen any reason to think he isn't. I think he's done okay in the cameos that he's played, but he's definitely left-footed and definitely balanced in that regard. But if you don't think he's the guy, play Micky van der Ven out there, because Micky van der Ven, first and foremost, increasingly wants to take the ball and take the ball by the horn, so to speak, and drive direct out from the back. But if you're doing that from the left-sided centre-back spot and you've got a slow player like Radu Dragusin next to him, when he gets picked off, it can be really problematic. And it almost was 4 times in the Fulham game. Now, none of those things eventuated with super bad outcomes. I think 2 of them ended up with a corner, or 1 of them did at least. But let him do that stuff from the left-back spot. Let's see if he could become a Gareth Bale-esque, you know? I think he wants out anyway. Maybe we could sort of rediscover what he's really capable of. sort of galloping down the left side as a left back. I think it's possible. I think he's got all the talent in the world. And if you do have Radu Dragusin and Kevin Danso that can sit in there and operate in the back line, I would love to see it. I'd love to see it. Romero's not back yet. When Romero is back, obviously, I think that's even more a possibility. I don't know why we haven't experimented with it. He plays out there for Holland. You know, he plays next to Van Disney for Holland as a left back, and he does quite well in that regard. So I'd like to see it. It's a solution rather than playing Archie Gray out there, which doesn't satisfy me in any way, shape, or form. And I would hope it wouldn't satisfy you guys. You know, let me know your thoughts though. What's Micky van der Ven is our best striker, to be honest. I'd play him up front. Yeah, well, that's kind of the approach we're taking with Archie Gray, isn't it? We haven't got a designated left back, so well we do, but we don't trust him yet. So we'll just shoehorn him out there. And then as soon as Conor Gallagher gets taken off, we'll shoehorn him out to the right midfield. Like I feel like I'm in Clark's, the shoe shop at the moment. There's not that much shoehorning going on. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Van der Ven could play left back against Brennan Johnson. Yeah. Brennan Johnson ain't going to do anything, is he? The only thing Brennan Johnson is going to do is he's going to take advantage of the fact that no one considers him a threat, and he's going to sneak in at the back post and probably score the winner against us. And that, you know, that's going to happen. Just like, you know, Ademola Lookman's going to score a hat-trick against us in the first leg of the quarter of the last 16, because that's just the sort of karma that we seem to bring on ourselves. Van der Ven's hamstrings wouldn't hold up playing on the left-hand side. We don't know that. He hasn't had any hamstring problems. I'm not saying gallop up the pitch every 5 seconds like what Gareth Bale was doing, but let's have a go. And he wants out anyway, so let's utilize him for some good whilst we've got him, and he'll be gone in the summer. And if he does pull his hamstring, then he won't be gone in the summer, and then we get to keep him regardless. So, you know, win-win. That's what I'm thinking anyway. That's what I'm thinking. Don't forget to follow me on Spotify, guys. If you are into the podcast platforms, there's the link. You can follow us over there as well. What's that? For fuck's sake, Sean Johnson hat-trick is almost a nail on now, you donut. He's probably listening to this as well. Just like the football club. Just like, you know. Listen, I think he will. I think Brennan Johnson will have a nothing game, but he might end up popping up with a winner, because that's what, you know, everyone forgets that he's on the pitch. No one considers him as I always said that about him. His greatest strength is his biggest weakness. The fact that no one considers him a threat means that he can ghost into the back post and no one remembers that he's playing, and then he pops up with a winner. And so, yeah, it will entirely, in all likelihood, probably happen. What is that on my note? Is that a blood vessel or something? I'll have to get rid of that. I keep noticing it, and it's annoying me. Very much annoying me. Next story for you guys. This is the interesting one. Udogie bloody Friedman. Let's look at this one, shall we? Here we go, Udogie. What are we doing here? Tottenham Hotspur are considering hiring former Crystal Palace sporting director Udogie Friedman as they step up their search for Fabio Paratici's successor, according to The Telegraph. The North London side are said to have made checks on several potential candidates, including both Friedman and Chelsea sporting director Paul Winstanley. Spurs are aiming to secure a replacement for Paratici sooner rather than later, as they want a new sporting director to have a major say in who they appoint as manager this summer. Paratici left the club to join Fiorentina last month, leaving Johan Lang as the only sporting director at Spurs, who are currently just 16th in the Premier League standings. According to The Telegraph, Tottenham have started the process of finding a new sporting director and hope to begin speaking to candidates soon, despite being involved in a relegation battle. Spurs are viewing Friedman as one of the potential candidates to succeed Paratici, although it remains to be seen whether the 51-year-old would be interested in the role. Friedman only joined Saudi Arabian second-tier side Al Diriyah in April last year, following an 8-year spell at Crystal Palace. Winstanley, meanwhile, has been the sporting director at Chelsea since November 2022 and was rewarded with a new contract last year that runs until the summer of 2031. Friedman has played a major role in Palace's success in recent seasons, as he was responsible for the recruitment of players including Elise Eze, Gahey, Adam Wharton, and Dean Henderson. The 51-year-old was also heavily involved in Palace's appointment of Glasner, who guided the club to its first major trophy by winning the FA Cup last year. Eze and Elise became two of Palace's three most expensive sales in the past 2 summers, raking in 67.5 million and 47.4, respectively. Palace will also be on the lookout for a new manager after the season, with Glasner expected to leave his role following a difficult Premier League campaign. Would you take a double act of Glasner and Friedman? I would. I think the Glasner wouldn't satisfy a lot of Tottenham fans with the style of football necessarily. But if you could get the trick is, as far as I believe, is my perspective anyway, guys, is that you need like chemistry between the two parties that are running the footballing side, the director of football and the manager. And unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to think of it, this notion of like the manager just gets the keys to the kingdom and you always do what he wants, which is an argument I think Tel put forward a few weeks ago. It's just unrealistic. It's never going to happen, ever, ever, ever. The game is moving that direction. The unfortunate reality for the managers is that the managers are given a set of KPIs around immediacy, and the directors of football are given a set of KPIs around, keeping an eye on the immediacy, but also keeping an eye on one on the future. Now, the manager somewhat has to give their opinion on who they want as players to help them with the immediacy, but the director of football doesn't have to listen to them. Increasingly across all football clubs, the director of football and the scouts make the decision around who it is that the manager has to work with. And so that can be problematic. Also, some of the resources are going to get put towards buying players for the future. Sometimes also the director of football is going to say, listen, we need to sell this player at peak value because that's what we have to do here, which can disrupt the manager's plans and also can be very much, as I say, against the best intentions of the manager, because the manager's not here to care about what happens at the football club in 10 years' time. The manager only cares about what happens in the next 10 months. And so you just have conflict between the KPIs, the motivations, and the endeavors. And ultimately, the manager is responsible for what happens on the pitch now. And if it doesn't work out, he gets fired, despite a lot of the problems around why he might have been fired, i.e. not being given the right tools, not getting the players that he wanted to work with that are the right profiles. And the director of football often just gets to hide behind, and use the manager as a shield. So it's a much more fortuitous position to be the director of football at the football club. Now, what you would have in an ideal world is a manager and a director of football that have a relationship, that understand that there's a little bit of give and take, that they come together as a package, they work together, they understand each other inherently, they know what each other are thinking, they both kind of respect each other's roles, and they both obviously have some sort of similar vision in mind for hopefully a longer term project at a football club. Rangnick and Nagelsmann is a fantastic example. Obviously, Paul Mitchell and Pochettino was a good example. And obviously, I think Glasner and Udogie Freedman would also make a great example. Now, again, you might not like Oliver Glasner's style, but I think with the relationship between Freedman and Glasner being pretty, as far as I'm aware, pretty close, pretty cozy, I don't think that would be a horrendous double act to sign. I'd feel quite comfortable that those two know what they're doing. I think the manager comes with the respect of winning a trophy. He's won the Europa League when he was in Germany. And obviously, Udogie Freedman has signed some monsters. I mean, not just the players that were mentioned there. I'll read off some names that were signed under Udogie Freedman's tenure from 2017 to 2025 at Crystal Palace. So we know Eberechi Eze, we know Elise, we know Gahey, we know Wharton, and we know Dean Henderson that were mentioned in the article. But there was Jean-Philippe Mateta was also signed. Odsonne Edouard from Celtic, a very handy player that didn't disappoint in the Premier League, and he came from a weaker league like Celtic. Chadi Riyad from Barcelona was a defender. I don't know how well he did. Daniel Munoz, obviously from Genk. What a signing that guy was out of Belgium. Is it Genk? Genk is Belgium, or is it Ghent that's Belgium? One of them's Holland, one of them's Belgium. Whichever. Genk with a K. The fullback Daniel Munoz. What a player he is. How about Cheick Doucouré from Lens, from Lyon, right? Key defensive midfielder. Cheick Doucouré is an unbelievable player. Unbelievable player. You've got an entire team there of really, really top draw players. I was about to say superstars. There's a few superstars in there. But, Elise came from Reading, right? Eze came from QPR. Gahey came from Chelsea, obviously. Wharton from Blackburn Rovers. Don't forget Joaquin Anderson from Lyon, a player that I think he's still at, I think he went to, where did Anderson go to? Fulham? Is he still at Fulham, or has he left Fulham now? I forget. But Joaquin Anderson I thought personally that Joaquin Anderson was better, in my opinion, than Mark Gahey when they played together at Palace. Personally, I did. I always thought Mark Gahey had a little bit of a limitation with some of his readings and some of his positional sense, his positional awareness. But obviously, Gay, he's gone on to bigger things now, and Anderson's obviously sort of filtering off a little bit, but still a very, very good player. So unbelievable talent from Udogie Freedman. And I think a lot of Tottenham's problems would go away if you were to get Udogie Freedman in, or someone like a Ralph Rangnick, someone that that is known as being a fantastic scout, but also just has good relationships, that is sensible and calm. And if you give them the keys to the kingdom, and you have a manager that is familiar with the guy, that can be on the same page and the same wavelength, despite them having two different KPIs, that there'll be a little bit of give, a little bit of take. For me personally, I think that that's the key ingredient that Tottenham need in their next iteration of DOF manager, right? You need to have people that sing from the same hymn sheet. And I don't think we've had that for a while. Now, what's interesting is about Johan Lang. Is he going to be, are we still going down this path of two DOFs? If so, is that going to work again? I don't think it will. Now, obviously, the Chelsea guy, who, where's that story gone? Here we go. The Chelsea guy that is also being linked with Tottenham, whose name I can't think of it for the time. I can't think of it for the time being. What was his name? Paul Winstanley, that's it. Sorry, Paul Winstanley. Now, I'm pretty sure that Chelsea actually have a double DOF at the moment. Now, I wasn't aware of that until I got corrected by Connor a couple of weeks ago. But the double DOF thing for me doesn't work. I think there's only a couple of teams in the Premier League that have it, or that have ever really had it. For me, I think you're always going to have conflicts. I think you're always going to have cliques, and you're going to have influence and favoritism and all that sort of stuff. I don't like it. I don't think the job is that complicated that you can't be, sufficiently good enough to have just one voice that's a powerful voice that knows what he's doing. If the reason why they don't think that Johan Lang is capable of doing the job on his own, so therefore he needs someone to hold his hand, therefore you bring in a second one, well, isn't that just the same as saying that Johan Lang isn't really good enough? And if you get someone like Udogie Freedman that's got the ability to find and scout those unbelievable talents from around Europe, and also be able to run the show, as he did at Crystal Palace, right? Parish was kind of hands-off to some degree. Crystal Palace had like 3 or 4 different owners, and Parish was, the most vocal, the most engaged, but the smallest of the shareholders, I believe. I think he's only got 10%, and yet they had the most voting rights or whatever. And I think the other people that were there, didn't really have as much involvement. They were more standoffish. But Udogie Freedman did a really good job there, so I would be more than happy to see him come in. But like I say, if the reason why Johan Lang isn't being trusted to run it all by himself, he needs a partner, then isn't that just another way of saying you're not good enough? So out you go. Bring in someone that can do the job. For me, and Paul Winstanley, maybe Paul Winstanley's being linked because he's used to working with a second DOF, and therefore, maybe him and Johan Lang can buddy up on this one. But I still think that it doesn't make any sense. Even if I remember people at the time telling me they've got clearly defined responsibilities, and so there'll be no overlap or any kind of conflicts. I said at the time that's nonsense, because one of the different divisions of Labour was that one of them was responsible for buying. For facilitating the loan players, and the other one was responsible for facilitating the youth system. All right, well, there's overlap in those things in and of themselves, right? So it was never going to work. Absolutely never going to work. Did I say Morgan Freeman? Is that what I said? I meant Doug. Get busy signing or get busy leaving. Pastries out. Bloody pastry, that bloody Danish pastry, Hugo. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, what are we doing? Get that bloody Danish pastry out of my football club. Yeah, but listen, he might be staying in Saudi Arabia. I don't know about the whole tax thing. Maybe the tax thing is like problematic. If he's getting paid a fortune to be in the Saudi Arabian second division, then. Maybe it's a problem. Maybe it's a problem. Let's talk a little bit about Roberto De Zerbi. Robert De Zerbi, right? So he has been linked with Tottenham again. Apparently, Tottenham are he's on the Tottenham shortlist for managerial replacements. Listen, I love Roberto De Zerbi. I love his fiery character, but I do actually think that it would be self-combustible. And it'd be an implosion at the football club, having him and his willingness to just go crazy especially if he's joining a ship that isn't such a shit show as ours currently is. I think you need to get the ship a little bit more ship shape, if that makes sense, before you expand into players like him. However, I think he's a good man, great manager. I like his style of football. And I would like to see at some point Roberto De Zerbi manage Tottenham Hotspur. I really would. However, I think he is at the moment probably, even though I was on board it a few weeks ago, I just think given what's come out with how much of an absolute shit show our football club seems to be at the moment with the terms of the kind of running of the club, I'm not sure it would work with him. I think there'd be some spontaneous combustion very, very quickly. And I think he's also on the short list of Manchester United. Wouldn't be surprised to see him come in. Pochettino probably for me is still number one on the most likely list after the World Cup finishes from America. Again, though, this summer's going to be a nightmare because if Tottenham do stay up, and even if the owners are going to put in 200-300 million, whatever it is, to go and really go for it, and really there'll be a hell of a lot of business being done in the summer with people leaving the football club and hopefully people coming in. If we're going to be having to wait for the World Cup to finish before all of the players become available, and all the good players are playing for teams that will probably go further in the World Cup than otherwise, and you've got a manager that will be distracted until probably late July as well, then, and if you haven't got a DOF in place by early enough, it's going to be another one of those situations where there'll probably be a raft of excuses. It was a difficult summer because of the World Cup and yada, yada, yada. But if Tottenham get away with relegation this year, if we do, it's a big if. I don't think we'll get away with it next year if we don't make massive wholesale changes to our football system, to our ecosystem, to our staff, to our playing staff, to our managerial staff, and to the decision-making staff at the football club. And so you can't really afford to let this one go, despite the difficulties of the summer. You have to really have your plan in place as early as possible. And so therefore, for me, you can't be letting Johan Lang make these decisions. And for no disrespect to Vinay, because I think he's already been overruled enough times. For me, I don't think you can have him making these decisions either. And I certainly don't want Matthew Collicott. No disrespect to him, but you're the bean counter, bro. I don't want you making decisions. I don't want you overruling. I don't know who it is that's making the decision. Is it Collicott? Is it Joe Lewis still from afar, from a distance? Is it Butcher? Whoever it is, none of these people have got the it's like you're not even a boxer, you're someone who puts the ring together, but yet you have to get into the heavyweight with Muhammad Ali. Like the Premier League is the heavyweight of boxing, and you're not even a boxer. These people are not football people, and yet they're making the decisions around how it is that we go about our business. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. Just because you've got a standard deviation away from the football club doesn't mean that you are in any way at all sophisticated and credible as a decision maker with regards to footballing decisions at the football club. So absolutely insane. Yeah, what this guy Mawson as well, but he's a youngster. He's a youngster that's come from the City Football Group. Who was the last person we brought from the City Football Group? What's his name? Scott Munn, who had the audacity to talk about the football club. He didn't say a word to us when he was in the hot seat, and now that he's left, everyone's throwing punches. He thinks he can come out and throw punches as well about how badly we run. Bro, you were in charge, mate. You were in charge. You were in charge of our football club for 2 years, you donut. Unbelievable. The audacity of some people. The gall. I don't use the word gall often, but the gall on some people to sit there and think that they can throw mud. Glass houses, bro. Glass houses. I'm mixing analogies there because I haven't had enough of this yet. Ra-ta-ta-ta. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. I've just been offered a ticket to go to Madrid. Just been offered. What are we saying, boys? What are we saying? What are we saying, girls? Should we be going to Madrid? Shall I get the train, get the plane, or whatever? I think Johnny was telling me it's the ticket is like the flights are like over £1,000 or something now. I don't know. No, I don't think so. Although a night out in Madrid does sound a tasty of the tartars. It's always someone else's fault. 100%, Manny. 100%. Bro, is that Is that a picture of Zeus or is that a picture of Baal? Baphomet. With the as above, so below thing. So it's weird, isn't it? All the different gods, all of them, they all have the as above, same below thing. As above, same as above, as was it? As above, same above as below. Whatever it is. Anyway, packets in Madrid. Packets in Madrid. Last chance to see us in Europe for a while, Shawnee. That's true, Daniel. It's true. Look at you with your orange background, mate. What are you doing? You're a model, aren't you, Daniel? You're a model. I'm a model, idiot. Love that film. As above, so below. As above, so below. That's it. As above, so below. Sean, are you open to go back to Bodo to do a ground documentary if Arsenal versus Bodo in the quarterfinal? Just to go and see my Helga. My Helga! I miss you so much. Latina baddies in Madrid. Hola, chica! You know what? As above, so below. Yeah. As within, so without. 100%. 100%. The devil is inside me, as is the God. You know? My devil is alcohol and sometimes Paquito, Lucas Paquetá. You know? You just love orange soda, do you? Is that right, mate? Is that right? Tango. Get some Madrid beer. Yeah. Ratatata. Ranić DOF. Yeah, listen, I'll take Ralph Ranić. I'll give him the keys to the kingdom. That man knows a project. When he sat there and spoke about when he was at Manchester United and said, I know what this club needs, but it's like root canal. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. I'd let him if he's a football guy, but you got to give him all of the trust. You've got to give him everything he wants. Right? If he goes, this is what I need absolute power over transfers. I need to know what budgets I work with, right? Well, I can figure that out. I'll work with your accountant. But if I say you sign this player, and you pay him out of my budget, you pay him what's necessary, we make it work. You have to give him the keys. But is Vinay going to give anyone the keys when he's only had the keys himself for six months? And thus far, he's fucking got the key stuck in the door about 4 or 5 times. You know what I mean? Ranić plus Nagelsmann. Yeah, but he's turned us down, Nagelsmann, a couple of times. But you pay the man the money. Pay that man his money. He won fair and square. Pay that man his money. Name that film. Name that poker film. Sanny Miggs. Yeah, Sanny Miggs. Love that. I've got another story for you somewhere. I'm trying to think which one it was. We've done the double things. That's it. Is it Tottenham consider what's this? No, we've done that one already. Maybe that'd be it. Tottenham have slapped the £100 million price tag on disillusioned ace, according to Sports Boom. Micky van der Ven. Listen, if whether Tottenham go down or otherwise, he's not leaving for 50 million quid because Tottenham get relegated. Right? It's not happening, is it? It's not happening. So, Stop with the nonsense if you think you're leaving. But he needs to pick up, he needs to show a little bit more desire, a little bit more heart. He's the captain of the football club. When is Romero back, by the way? Is tomorrow the third game or is tomorrow the fourth? Oh, sorry, is Thursday the third game or the fourth game? Is it the third game? Because I don't think he's back until after Liverpool, is he, Romero? Yeah. Looking forward to the AI concert. Yeah, it's coming, mate. It's coming. I've got to get on the phone with Danny Kiriakou when we're both available, and then he knows how to install this bad boy thing. I don't know how to do it. If I did it, I'd probably like put a virus on my computer or something. And then once it's done, it's literally going to be like I can just click a button like that, as easy as that, clicking a button, and then my face will just change to Antonio Conte, and then I can either just do my own impression of this club, 25 years, these are owners, it's the same thing. Or I can put Daniel Levy, put Daniel Levy on, and I've got another AI tool that can clone the voice. And as long as I learn the kind of inflections and the way that they talk, then I can just go. I go through everybody. And on Rabbit Hole Ramblings, you better believe I'm doing Prince Andrew. I'm going to do Netanyahu, do a little bit of Trumpy, do a little bit of Epstein, and do a little bit of them all. I think I'll probably be. I think probably that might be my ticket out of this realm. You know, it'll probably be a bunker bomb dropped on my gaff. But it's going to be fun. Rounders, well done to those who called Rounders. Well done. What a film. Pay that man his money. Yet he won fair and square. So yeah, AI's coming soon. As soon as Danny Kiriakou and I can get together and figure it out. He's on 40k, lol. We can hold him hostage. Who are we talking about here? Oh, Micky van der Ven, yeah. Football starting this evening, isn't it? Have we got any big games tonight? Let's have a look. Premier League. Is there any games that we need to see tonight that are specific to our own threats? Who have we got tonight? Everton, Burnley, Bournemouth, Brentford, Leeds United, Sunderland, Leeds, and Wolves, Liverpool. Yeah, so we're one eye on Leeds, Sunderland, I guess. One eye on Leeds, Sunderland. A little cheeky bet on that one, maybe. Brighton Arsenal. That's an interesting game. Brighton Arsenal tomorrow, because Brighton are a team that if they want to turn up, if they really want to play, they're a match for anybody when they want to be. They're also poor when they're not in the mood. Don't do the Tourette's guy. Jim Carrey, yeah, Jim Carrey. He's definitely cloned, isn't he? He's 100% been cloned, that geezer. Sean, Frank needs a job. Wonder if Kanesh will lend him the truck. Oh. What do you mean by that? Good show. Isn't that a true story as well? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Right, guys, we've been going for an hour and a half, so it's about time for me to say, Alasatata, I'll see you tomorrow. And I want to say thank you to everyone for joining me. Hope you guys are all going to enjoy your evening. Is there anyone that I can send us over to? Is there anybody that's live? If there isn't, then I'll say bye-bye. Is there? No one live. Right, guys. Yeah, hopefully tomorrow you'll start seeing some AI content, or maybe by the end of the week. Anyway, it's going to be fun. Love you all, and I get it from Rounders, your donut. The guy talks about donut. Yeah. I get it. What a show that is. Yeah. Very good, mate. You see, you're smarter than me, smarter than the average bear. Right, lads. Love you all, and ladies, love you even more. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.